Welcome back to KC Talks EV. And yes, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's been 1 year since I purchased my Hyundai Ioniq electric 38 kilowatt hour. For those that don't know and haven't watched the previous video, I would highly recommend watching it. In December 24, I actually purchased a 38 kilowatt hour Ioniq, and I've been driving it for the last year. I've done 18,500 miles. And in this video, at least, we are going to look at how much it's costed me. We're also going to talk about that one issue which unfortunately this car has had, and some recommendations potentially to prevent this from happening, as well as what we're expecting from this car in 2026. So without further ado, let's get started. To start off with, we should talk about how much it's costed me. And in terms of total mileage this year, I've done 18,535 miles. Now, I must admit, this isn't, for example, the 20 to 25,000 miles I was expecting to do in this car. However, I did have 3 to 4 test vehicles last year. I think I had the BYD Seal, the Skywell BE11, as well as the Leapmotor T03 and C10. And I put on roughly speaking, about 3 or 4,000 miles on those cars. So I have actually been doing around 20 to 25,000 miles a year. Now, the total cost is a grand total of £662 for that 18,535 miles. And this includes all rapid charging, destination charging, as well as home charging. I'd just like to point out, though, this cost is probably much lower than this. The reason why is I stupidly didn't keep any records, but because I was using the 3-pin EVSE or granny lead in my Grimsby address, I had to kind of overestimate quite a lot about how much kilowatt hours I was using. There is also one thing I've only just realised. EDF's EV tariff, if you're on the EDF plug-in and go, hence why I've got a Pod Point Solo 3S here, is actually 8.5 pence per kilowatt hour, not 9.5 pence per kilowatt hour. And all of the weekly updates that I've been doing on the Facebook and LinkedIn pages have been assuming 9.5 pence per kilowatt hour. Total cost per mile is 3.6 pence per mile. Now, if you compare that to the 12.8 pence per mile that my old Hyundai i20 petrol would be doing, 48 miles to the gallon, I've also assumed £1.35 a litre, which is about right for this area, but I know that in some areas it has actually gone below £1.30 as of filming. And efficiency is 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. That is obviously pretty good. So it's time to talk a bit more about the elephant in the room, what has happened with my Ioniq. And when I purchased it, I did notice a noise. Now, this noise happened under acceleration, whether hard acceleration or light acceleration, didn't matter at all. And I just really wasn't sure whether it was normal or not. I did look on the groups and things like that for things called the Wheel of Fortune. And when I sort of heard other recordings of it, I kind of went, I'm not so sure whether it was the case when I got it. Personally, my ZS EV, for example, if you accelerate pretty hard, does make a whirring noise. Especially with EVs, it's quite a bit more noticeable for any noise whatsoever in the car because there's no vibration or anything. However, I specifically bought a car with a full service history, so I knew it was under warranty, just in case if I needed to, for example, return it back or it needed some repairs. Fast forward about 6 months later, and bear in mind at this point I would have done the road trip video as well as the London to Brighton video. So the 10,000 mile service came up, and I decided to just let the dealer know, look, I think there's a noise coming from the front of the car. I have no idea where it's coming from. Could you have a look at it during the service? And they said, absolutely, no problem. And within half an hour of having the car, they called me up to immediately say, yes, there is a noise, and the course of action is we do a full replacement of the motor and the gearbox. Obviously not the best thing, but in a way, I guess you could almost say, well, now I've got a new motor and a new gearbox. So, hey, that's happened. And it did happen under warranty for free. In terms of any recommendations I can make, I have been sort of scouring the groups and the forums about if there's anything you can do to prevent this. Obviously, electric vehicles don't have, for example, engine oils and things like that that need to be changed, but there is definitely some oil in what's called the reduction drive, especially in the first 500 to 1,000 miles. Those tolerances on those gears are very, very tight, and they kind of need to start meshing, and inevitably you are going to get really, really small bits of metal. And normally this is picked up by a magnet inside the reduction drive. Unfortunately though, this magnet is internally placed rather than on, for example, the actual plug itself, which means it's a lot more difficult to clean. People believe that because it rattles inside that casing, the metal shards just end up in the oil. They get ground down, just end up being part of the oil, and it stops the oil from lubricating properly. And then, for example, apparently can go in the bearings and affect those. The solution is to actually change the oil prematurely. Realistically though, any oil is not going to be a lifetime part, and it would be recommended to replace it at some point. Or alternatively, replace it as soon as you get that used purchase, and then obviously much longer intervals compared to, you know, engine oils and things like that. And in fact, in this car, I'm either going to do it DIY or I will get an independent garage to replace it for me. Let me know in the comments if you do want to know how to do so. And I'm also going to be adding a magnetic plug as well to pick up any bits of metal. Hopefully we'll do a much better job compared to the internal magnet. Finally, we need to talk a bit about battery state of health. Now, I have actually done a video on how to do this, so you might want to go check it out. But when you plug in the OBD2 scanner, it says 100% state of health. Now, realistically, it's not going to be 100% state of health. There's going to be some buffer, for example, that has been removed a little bit. But generally speaking, the range that I'm getting out of this car isn't any different compared to what it was a year ago. So I think all is pretty well on that one. So I guess that is pretty much it for the first year with my Ioniq. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Hyundai Ioniq. I know that a load of owners have been commenting on the Ioniq videos in the past, so thank you so much for commenting on that. And make sure that you leave a comment below to let me know your experience of your Ioniq as well. And I know that some of you have also considered purchasing a Ioniq thanks to these videos, which is really, really great to hear. So if you liked the video, please like it, dislike it if you didn't. Please share this video to anyone who may be considering purchasing a Ioniq or alternatively any other vehicles. There will be a 2026 playlist, and also go check out the reviews and testing playlist as well for all of the other electric vehicles that have been tested on KC Talks EV. And I think that is pretty much it. So thank you for watching and talk to you later.